Fight every battle, everywhere, always. In your mind, everyone is your enemy. Everyone is your friend. Every possible series of events is happening all at once. Live that way, and nothing will surprise you. Everything that happens will be something that you've seen before.
Do you ever feel like the world sold you a script you never agreed to read? Go to school, get the job, chase comfort, beg for recognition. Like life is a checklist, not a battlefield. But you already know better. You feel it in the gut, that low hum of war that never shuts off. Every room is a board, every move is a test, every face is both ally and enemy depending on the hour. Zetas live here. Not tomorrow, not when motivation strikes, but now. They don't wait for signs, they are the sign. They don't escape reality, they sharpen inside it. Others need permission, Zetas act from compulsion. That darker current inside you? That's not weakness, it's fuel. This is not a guide for the crowd. This is a doctrine for the few who move without witnesses, who weaponize solitude, who turn betrayal into blueprint. If you're seeing this, you already know. You are not here to follow. You're here to bend time, to carry scars as maps, and to walk like the last edge in a dull world. Chapter 1. The War Within. Do you feel that constant tension? That pull between what you are and what you could become? You already know the battlefield. It's not some distant war you'll fight tomorrow. It's happening right now inside your mind. Every thought is a soldier. Every decision is a strategy. Every moment of hesitation is territory lost to weakness. Do you wake ready to take the angle, or do you wake to rehearse apologies? You act like a verdict, not a wish. You set the frame, then move within it. Claim the small wins so the big ones obey. Remove the audience, keep the instrument. Power is quiet, it is precise, it does not wait for consent. It reassigns reality by what it chooses to do. Sun Tzu taught to seize the favorable ground. Nietzsche taught to make value by force of will. Marcus said practice dying so you stop begging for life. This is doctrine, not pep talk. Zetas understand this instinctively. They don't wait for motivation to strike like lightning. They operate from something deeper. Internal compulsion that burns without external fuel. While others debate whether to act, Zetas are already 3 moves ahead, sharpening their blade in the darkness of uncertainty. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the discipline of perception, seeing things as they truly are, not as we wish them to be. For Zetas, this isn't philosophy, it's survival instinct. They see every person as both ally and adversary simultaneously. Not from paranoia, but from understanding that human nature is fluid, circumstances change, and loyalty has expiration dates. Studies by Kahneman in 2002 revealed our minds constantly create 2 narratives, the experiencing self and the remembering self. But Zetas operate from a third perspective, the anticipating self. They live in all timelines at once, preparing for every possible outcome. This isn't about being ready for battle. This is about recognizing you're already in one. The question isn't whether you'll fight, it's whether you'll fight consciously or let life happen to you while you sleep. Chapter 2. Hunt without witness. Do you sharpen in the dark, or do you polish under lights, waiting for someone to notice? You know the thought that keeps you awake. You felt it when everyone else slept. You move like a blade, economy of motion, cruelty of clarity. You do not broadcast intent. You make plans then bury the map. Sun Tzu taught that the supreme art is to subdue the enemy without fighting. Nietzsche taught that value is forged by will, not by consent. You take both lessons and make them tools. Strategy becomes habit, habit becomes instinct. Let your timing be a secret. Let your wins be evidence. He posts his war, then wonders why the tribe turns. They wear furious costume, then ask why doors close. They confuse spectacle with control, noise with mastery. He bargains with relevance, he trades consequences for applause. You cultivate lack, not for suffering but for leverage. Remove easy comforts, the world will reveal its true weights. You sharpen by cutting what flatters, you strengthen by refusing permission. Practice this until it is not effort but reflex. The next move will test whether you reacted or whether you authored the scene. Chapter 3. The Weight of Patience. How often do you mistake waiting for weakness? There's a difference between patience and passivity that most people never grasp. They confuse stillness with stagnation, preparation with procrastination. They see someone building in silence and assume nothing's happening. But you know better. Zetas operate on a timeline invisible to others. While the crowd chases instant gratification, you're compounding small victories into empires. This isn't just about delayed gratification. It's about understanding that real power grows in the dark, away from eyes that celebrate too early and curse too quickly. Seneca taught that time discovers truth, but for Zetas, time is a filter. It separates pretenders from builders, noise from signal. Every day you resist the urge to showcase unfinished work is a day you protect your vision from contamination. The moment you reveal your incomplete creation, 1,000 voices will tell you what it should be. And most of those voices have built nothing. Studies by Mischel in 1972, the marshmallow experiment, showed that delayed gratification predicts long-term success. But here's what they didn't measure: the psychological warfare of building alone. The doubt, the questioning, the isolation that comes from refusing to join the celebration while you're still in construction mode. You carry that weight, not because you're better, but because you understand that impatience is the tax the weak pay for wanting results without process. Zetas don't rush. They accumulate. Chapter 4. The Illusion of Safety. When did you start confusing comfort with progress? Look around. Everyone's building fortresses of routine, predictable days stacked like bricks into walls that protect them from nothing. They call it stability. You recognize it as slow death. The corporate ladder. The safe relationship. The path everyone takes because it's been walked smooth by a million feet before them. Zetas instinctively reject the seduction of comfort. Not because they love chaos, but because they understand that growth and safety are opposing forces. You can't sharpen a blade without friction. You can't build strength without resistance. The moment you choose ease, you choose erosion. Nietzsche saw this clearly: what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But he meant something darker than motivation posters suggest. He meant that voluntary hardship is the only honest relationship with reality. Everything else is negotiation with entropy. Research by Dweck in 2006 on mindset theory revealed that people with growth mindsets seek challenges while fixed mindsets avoid them. But Zetas operate beyond mindset. It's instinct. They don't think about choosing discomfort. They just move toward it like sharks move toward blood and water. Your friends don't understand why you leave jobs that pay well but teach nothing. Why you end relationships that feel good but demand nothing from you. They think you're sabotaging success. You know you're preventing stagnation. Comfort isn't rest. It's rust wearing the mask of peace. Zetas don't settle. They evolve. Chapter 5. Forge in solitude, deploy in silence. Do you build your edge where cameras applaud, or do you sharpen where no one can count the strokes? Solitude is not exile, it is an armory. You go there to make things true. You remove witnesses so reality reveals its weights. Distractions fall away, and the raw trade of skill for consequence begins. For Zetas, the problem is irrelevant. The world furnishes challenges, they furnish answers. This is not theater, it is craftsmanship. Seneca warned that distraction is the enemy of depth. Make that warning your rule. He crowds his work with praise and loses the blade. They measure value by likes and become soft. Isolation prunes the audience, it grows the spine. In solitude you test without apology. You fail in private, you recalibrate in private, then you arrive in public with a law already written. You do not mourn loneliness, you monetize it. Turn lack of approval into oxygen for practice. Let absence be the curriculum. Build rituals that cannot be performed on stage. Make competence private, consequences public. When you re-enter the room, your timing will be surgical, your purpose undeniable. Zetas do this instinctively, they sharpen their edge inside reality, not outside it. Chapter 6. Weaponize constraints, don't beg for options. Do you carve advantage from limits, or do you beg for more room to feel safe? You turn shortage into craft, you do not treat lack like loss. Constraints are not sentences, they are tools. They force the mind to trim the fat and sharpen the edge. Machiavelli showed power works through necessity, not permission. Zeno taught endurance through narrow lanes. You make small cages that breed big predators, you make fewer choices so the right move jumps out. He panics when doors narrow, he thinks scarcity equals defeat. They spend energy expanding the field instead of mastering one corner. Studies on scarcity by Mullainathan and Schaffer, 2013, show constraint tightens attention but also taxes bandwidth. That means your focus becomes a weapon if you know how to wrestage the cost. Use the strain, don't be used by it. You manufacture limits. Set a deadline you can bite through, cut a budget you can dominate, remove the easy retreat. Turn missing resources into bargaining chips. When you need less, others must give more. Make failure expensive for others, cheap for yourself. Do this until scarcity feels like home, until your moves are minimal and lethal. Then watch how the room reorganizes itself around you. Hope you're enjoying this video. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe the channel for your Zeta Edge. Chapter 7. Measure hearts like terrain, move like weather. Do you read allegiance like a map, or do you mistake volume for loyalty? You learn the contours of people, you study where hunger meets convenience, you trace the fault lines they hide from themselves. Influence is landscape work. Names don't matter, patterns do. Sun Tzu taught terrain, Cialdini showed persuasion. You apply both as craft, not charm. He confuses applause with allegiance. He mistakes loud followers for iron bonds. They trade depth for headlines, then wonder why they are abandoned at the first storm. That superficiality is a structural failure. Studies on conformity by Ash 1951 found people bend to group signal. Studies by Cialdini 1984 show social proof and scarcity shift choices. These are not curses, they are tools. This creates two useful facts. 1. People crave easy answers. 2. They copy credible rhythm. Use that, plant the rhythm, let others march it. Make trust transactional, love unpredictable, and attention scarce. This might look bad, but it is real. You're real. Build core nodes, then collapse attention toward them. Reward loyalty in small, precise measures. Punish betrayal with silence, not spectacle. Turn affiliation into architecture, not theater. You measure, you bend, you let the room reorganize. When it reshapes, your options multiply. The next chapter will teach how to make tempo a weapon, so timing will obey you. Chapter 8. The Ghost. Do you make the clock dance for you, or do you sync to whatever noise the crowd plays? Tempo is a weapon, not a backdrop. Control the beat and people march where you point them. Timing is theater direction and tactical warfare at once. Speed collapses options, delay creates doubt. You use rhythm like a metronome, you tighten when others loosen, you slow when the rush becomes predictable. This is not showmanship, it is choreography of consequence. He confuses hurry with mastery, he floods the field with motion and mistakes speed for strategy. They sprint for likes and lose the map. Ainsley discovered temporal discounting in 1975, the mind prefers now over later. Bend that instinct, make others pay for impatience. Let their short-term hunger become your leverage. Robert Greene wrote about the laws of timing and power, knowing when to withdraw, when to advance. But for Zetas it goes deeper. You don't just read the room, you set the metronome. You make others move at your pace without them realizing they've surrendered control. This is how wars are won before the first shot fires. Studies by Pentland in 2010 on social physics showed that synchronization of rhythm between people predicts influence and persuasion outcomes. You manufacture tempo with small acts. Silence is a drum fill, use it to change the rhythm of a conversation. Compress a window, watch decisions fracture. Stretch another, watch resolve evaporate. Timing is not passive, it is an engine. Rhythm creates credibility, consistent cadence breeds trust, erratic speed breeds panic. Pair tempo with solitude and scarcity, and your moves become not just noticed but inevitable. You feel the pulse, you own the tempo, make time obey you. Chapter 9. The Erosion of Sentiment. When did emotion last make a decision for you that logic would have prevented? Most people are ruled by feelings they mistake for truth. They let anger dictate their moves, let fear veto their ambitions, let nostalgia chain them to dead versions of themselves. They treat emotions like sacred messengers instead of what they actually are, chemical reactions with evolutionary purposes that stopped being relevant 10,000 years ago. Zetas feel everything, but they don't obey everything they feel. There's a difference between experiencing emotion and letting it pilot your life. You learned early that feelings are data, not directions. Fear tells you where risk lives. Anger shows you where boundaries were crossed. But neither emotion gets to write the response. Epictetus taught that we are disturbed not by events, but by our views of events. For Zetas, this isn't philosophy, it's operational procedure. You separate stimulus from response. Between what happens and what you do about it lies the only freedom that matters. Most people collapse that gap. They react instantly, automatically, predictably. Research by Damasio in 1994 on emotion and decision-making showed that people with damaged emotional centers can't make decisions at all. Emotion is necessary. But studies by Kahneman in 2011 also showed that emotional decisions consistently produce worse long-term outcomes than analytical ones. The answer isn't removing emotion. It's subordinating it. You use feeling as reconnaissance, then you let cold calculation execute the mission. Zetas don't suppress emotion. They harness it. Chapter 10. You never arrive. What happens when you achieve everything you said you wanted? This is the question that breaks most people. They climb the mountain, plant the flag, then realize the view doesn't fill the void they thought it would. They spend years chasing a destination, only to discover that arrival feels like death. So they either settle into decay, calling it contentment, or they panic and chase the next empty promise. Zetas don't have this problem. Not because they're immune to achievement, but because they never confuse the goal with the game. You understand instinctively that completion is a myth sold to people who need endpoints to justify effort. There is no finish line. There's only the next evolution, the next challenge, the next version of yourself that demands to be built. Nietzsche called it eternal recurrence, living as if you'd repeat this life infinitely. But for Zetas, it's simpler. You don't live for completion. You live for transformation. Every victory is just permission to attempt something harder. Every skill mastered is just the foundation for the next impossible thing. Studies by Csikszentmihalyi in 1990 on flow states showed that peak human experience comes from operating at the edge of ability, where challenge slightly exceeds skill. But here's what they didn't emphasize: that edge must keep moving, or the flow stops and stagnation begins. Zetas chase that edge like it's oxygen. You already know this. The moment something becomes easy, it becomes irrelevant. The moment you master the game, you invent a harder one. Not from dissatisfaction. From understanding that growth is not a phase, it's the entire point. Thanks for watching.